Go ahead and throw the camera on. What is crack-a-lacking, everybody? What's good? What's good? What is good? Hold on, let me make it so you guys can turn your cameras on. Let me see some beautiful faces. Um, there we go. All right, feel free to throw the cams on, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to throw the cameras on. But what's good? Good to see you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all. We are live officially now on YouTube as well for the session. So in the event that we do max out at capacity, people can still tune in from YouTube, man. But let's go ahead and dive into it. We got about 24 minutes before the news release, and I already pretty well have an idea of what I'm looking for. So we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna go right into it. But shout out to those of you guys that are tuned in from all over the world. We got what we got in the chat here. We got Brisbane, Australia, Poland, UK, Chasm, BC. Good to see you, Jeremy. We got UK. What's good, Pete? Hungary in the building. Poland, Winnipeg, New Brunswick in the house, Serbia in the building. We got London, Ontario. Let's go. What's good, bro? Good to see you. We got Estonia, Ghana, Uganda, got the Philippines, Kamloops, Bulgaria, Nebraska, Sweden, Turkey, Sasha, Istanbul. Let's go. France, Venice, Nairobi. Sheesh. Okay. We worldwide today. We worldwide today. We love to see it. So we are officially at capacity. Surprise. Was certainly expecting that. So let's go ahead and dive into it here. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into it here. This is the main thing that I'm looking for NFP today on gold. You guys already know, man. We first and foremost, all right. This is an NFP live trading session. If you're here and you're new and you don't know what NFP is, um, you might live under a rock, and that's okay. Okay, you're new. But NFP is like the most hyped news event to trade, and there's always a lot of volatility. And so with volatility comes opportunity, but also be smart. Don't risk more than you should be on trades. Okay, none of this is financial advice. We have a good time. We do pretty well for ourselves. But, don't do anything I wouldn't do, like risk more than you should on NFP day. In fact, usually I encourage people to risk less than they normally do. Okay. Do not be the guy that full ports news and blows his trading account or her trading account. It's just not smart. You know what I mean? Trading is about long-term consistency and doing the right things long enough consistently, man. So make sure that you're risking effectively and predetermining your risk to a dollar amount. Not, oh, let me drop this lot size just because I feel like it, but actually, is that a lot size that is going to allow you to be risking no more than an XYZ dollar amount that you choose to risk every single trade? Okay, be smart. But this is already something that I'm looking to set a buy limit on for golds, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop the exact parameters on screen for you guys. Um, okay, no reason you don't have the time to literally, all right, calculate your risk. I'm literally giving you guys the entry parameters 20 minutes before this even plays out. Okay, 20 minutes before it plays out. And I'm going to go over different TP levels, but obviously entry and stop loss price is the main thing when it comes to calculating risk. All right, we're looking at about a 90 pip stop. And basically the thought process behind this, for those guys that don't know, I do have a news training that some of you might have actually received if you haven't seen it already. Part of the automation for NFP today was to choose not yet if you haven't seen that training. So a lot of you did. But I do a lot of these, live NFP trading sessions, and we do very well with them. And we basically look for the same thing every single time. So overall, when taking a look at and considering what we're expecting the market to do, the first question I ask myself, we'll do a little lesson here as I'm kind of overviewing this, is where's the money? Okay, where is the money? Where is the vast majority of liquidity? Where is the vast majority of money residing in the market? So when we're taking a look at the hourly time frame here, obviously we've had a period of retracement on the higher time frame for gold. We've been trading lower consistently. And up until basically Wednesday this week, we were just chopping around, doing a whole bunch of shenanigans before breaking lower, going into Wednesday evening finally. And then Thursday, we had a nice little accumulation, good buying opportunity down here. I know some people that took buys from this level. And so yeah, we've captured a lot of sell side liquidity. Okay, lots of sell side liquidity beneath lows has been taken out already. Okay. So when I'm taking a look at gold and I'm asking myself, where is the money right now? Well, realistically speaking, we have money on both sides of the market. There always is money on both sides of the market. Okay. We got these swing highs. All right. But in terms of, we got the swing high as well. But in terms of where is the majority of the money right now, it's actually these lows. Okay. It's all these lows. Certainly this one I want to see swept going into NFP. And we have a beautiful point of interest for buys out of assuming we get a false spike and reversal with news. So, you might look at this and be like, Donnie, that's insane. We're freaking 200 pips away from that point of interest. Uh, and yeah, we're 200 pips away from the point of interest. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. But this is NFP news event we're talking about. All right, you will see major, major moves during NFP. So this is actually really not that crazy. Like we've caught numerous 1 to 5, 1 to 8 risk reward ratio setups on NFP live in the past, looking for setups that are very, very similar to this one. Practically the exact same, in fact. Like this is very, very similar to the trade that we took in February and January. Both of them were also buys. Both of them had points of interest beneath lows. Okay. And so this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm anticipating. If we don't get this on gold, I'm not interested in basically anything else for gold. Okay. Sells don't make sense to me. There's not really any point of interest other than maybe, you got this little area here, but I'm really not looking for sells on gold today. I want to see a sweep of these lows trading down into this area for a bounce to trade higher. And then where can we target? Okay, I know the TP that we have written down here is 33.14. I mean, reasonably speaking, like this thing can go even higher. Okay, we've got like a whole area of liquidity all the way over here. Lots of highs that we could potentially target for like 1,000 pips. And that wouldn't even be that insane, to be honest. It'd be a swing trade. It wouldn't be a trade that plays out just today. But if we're talking about targets that are going to be most likely to be attained if this plays out today, then the first area obviously we can target is just this high. Okay, the high that we're literally creating right now. It's a 1 to 3. The main area I would look to secure the majority of my bag at would be this high right here for a 1 to 5 risk reward. Okay. So, whether you're looking to take a 1 to 3, call it a day, whether you're looking to take a 1 to 5, call it a day, you can obviously leave a small part of your position running to higher targets for a super target, right? Leave a runner if you feel called to it. But for me, my main target that I'll be looking to see taken out during the session today, if this is something that plays out, because I could be totally wrong. Maybe this thing trades lower and just melts, and Donnie, takes his first L on NFP this whole year. It's possible. You know what I mean? I don't have a fortune crystal ball thing that's going to give me 100% certainty. Obviously, we're traders. We have edges that play out or that don't play out sometimes. So, this is what I'm anticipating. I could be totally wrong. Maybe we trade higher. You know what I mean? Maybe we get a spike higher capturing the high, then melts into the zone, and then we take off, right? That's also a scenario that we could see play out. But either way, ultimately, just figure out what you feel best and most comfortable with TP wise. Do you want to take a 1 to 3? It's like 300 pips, just shy of 300 pips. You want to take the 1 to 5? Do you want to, hold for the 1 to 8? This is possible today. It's not impossible. We've seen over the past 24 hours pretty significant movement. You know what I mean? From New York session yesterday to where we're currently trading, this has been about 570, 580 pip move, which is kind of what it's going to take for us to trade back up to this high, 520 pips. So for me, that's not really unrealistic. Um, is it guaranteed to happen? No, of course not, right? Like maybe we don't get that. So that's why it's good to target maybe something a little bit more conservatively, but still with great risk reward. Like a 1 to 3 is great. You know what I mean? A 1 to 5 is better. If you can hold for a 1 to 8 and it plays out, fantastic. I think it would be silly not to pay yourself along the way just because hitting a 1 to 8 is going to be less likely than you consistently hitting 1 to 3s. In a lot of cases for a lot of people, depending on their level of experience, of course. But so this is something that I would encourage everybody to set on gold. I've got this drawn up and I haven't even set the limit myself, so give me a second to do so here. But essentially 32.40 stop at least, beneath the low of the fair value gap. It's this low right here, the candle just before the fair value gap, 32.31 approximately. And again, those different targets you can obviously choose accordingly, right? Depending on what you're looking for. So again, if you normally are risking, I don't know, $50 a trade, maybe decide to risk $30 or $25 on this trade, okay? Because it's news. So you want to be wary of the fact that sometimes news just goes crazy and does some wild things. Maybe you're entirely wrong. And if you're risking more than you should be, you're going to be frustrated. If you're risking, less than normal, it's like, oh, cool. It's like I lost half of what I normally risk, big deal. If there's other opportunities, maybe you take that opportunity and it's like you've risked one R on the day instead of, more than you should be, right? So, yeah, but I'm very, very confident in this point of interest if we get a pullback. This is really something that I would be looking at as basically a picture perfect setup. Picture perfect doesn't always mean that it's going to be a guaranteed TP. It doesn't mean it's going to even necessarily be triggered with news. So we're going to see how things unfold in 13 minutes. But but yeah, so this is what I'm looking for. I'm just setting this across multiple accounts because your boy is managing multiple accounts. I do have some trade copying to other accounts, but the kids still gotta set it on multiple. Still gotta set it on multiple. This second TP, the swing high here is 32.85. So that's like the main target that we're looking for today on the session. And like I said, we'll see what we can get. Let's see what we can get. Okay, cool. So I'm set up and good to go on my side. Um, if you feel more comfortable, if you don't want to set a buy limit, I think we're fine to set buy limits, to be honest. It's, you know, might be one of those instances where it's better to have a buy limit set just because of how fast price moves. But always feels good to have the same setup. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Great, great snipers think alike. You know what I mean? Great minds think alike. Great snipers think alike. Any other pair that you're looking at? To be honest, this is the main one. We have like similar outlooks on some other things as well. I want to see I want to see if DXY can we've been trading fairly bullishly for the majority of this week. Obviously, we sold off Monday. Failed to get into a point of interest I was hoping we would get into, but it is what it is. We still captured some good liquidity and then ultimately have traded higher. I want to see if we get a full spike higher on DXY to trade lower. And for those of you guys that don't know about the DXY and how you can use this is the dollar index. So it's a basket of currencies, major currencies, euro, GBP, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, stuff like that. It's a basket weighted and put up against US dollar. So it's basically all of the currencies against the dollar itself. And you can look at this for a bias to get an overall idea of what majority of currency pairs are going to be doing, the majority of major currency pairs that are US dollar, AUD USD, NZD USD, stuff like that have the US dollar in it, what you can anticipate in accordance with those. So if DXY is looking bullish, you would, because we've been bullish or whatever, just as an example, if DXY is bullish, you would be anticipating your USD to be doing the exact opposite and being bearish. Okay. Notice how they basically inversely correlate each other, right? Monday we trade higher, rest of the week we trade lower. The same way that Monday we trade lower, The rest of the week we trade higher on DXY. Okay, Euro USD and DXY have the strongest correlation of all major currency pairs because the euro makes up the majority of the dollar index. Fun fact. But yeah, in terms of other setups I'm looking for, I mean, gold is really what looks cleanest in my opinion. We do have, other opportunities for similar trades, to be honest, on some of the major currency pairs, but gold is, in my opinion, the cleanest. But we have very similar, things on a lot of these major currency pairs. Lots of sell side liquidity. Maybe we get some jabs on these lows to continue higher on euro. Obviously, we captured a lot of liquidity yesterday. We actually took sells on my live session for a 1 to 3.5 is what we held it to mainly. Next low we would have been targeting wouldn't have been hit. It was actually this low over here that we didn't quite reach, which I was surprised we didn't reach this. But that would have been a 1 to 5.5 if we did. But either way, 1 to 3 was great. Took that on the live session. We actually traded the unemployment claim news live. That's when the entry came. Oh, oops, that's Wednesday. Unemployment claims. So yeah, man. GU, nothing I'm looking for whatsoever. AUD USD, I actually do like the looks of this. If we got a pullback into this point of interest, very similar to gold, very similar to gold. Lots of sell side liquidity to be targeted. And ultimately, if we were to see DXY trade higher and capture some of these highs, get back into this order block, we could probably look for a similar opportunity, on these other major currencies, but inversely, right? AUD USD to do the opposite, Euro USD to do the opposite, so on and so forth. So, what about some of the other major currency pairs? Let's take a look. USD CAD. Um, Not really interested in any of the price action that we're getting here. It does look like we're going to probably have a bullish release. Wouldn't be surprised if we take out these highs based on current price action. USD Chef, again, not really anything I'm looking for. I think somebody asked about what about USD JPY. Um, Not really a whole lot that I would want to see here. I think based on the price action that we're seeing on USD JPY, we'll probably get a move lower for these lows. But again, us spiking higher first to then take out those lows, I think is definitely on the table. But in terms of a point of interest that I'm looking to trade off of, not really much, to be honest. Um, like I said, gold is really the cleanest here that we're looking at. Hourly time frame on gold too. The order block is really what we're taking the buys from, and there's also a fair value gap in the same area. Okay, not only that too, this major sell-off is kind of in the same, it overlaps that same order block, right? You could look at this as like one big higher time frame order block, which is overlapping the smaller one. So there's lots of reason for us to get a reaction from this zone. GJ sells. Yeah, I'm not really looking to focus on a whole lot aside from gold, to be honest with you guys. But I could see GJ continuing to trade lower here into maybe we trade into this fair value gap, this order block here. Had some nice liquidity captured on Wednesday, and then we traded higher majority of Thursday, getting a pretty aggressive pullback here. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, not really looking to trade anything else other than gold today. Maybe AUD USD. If we can get down in here, and let's say gold doesn't trade into our point of interest, like I might look for longs, to target this high. Right, 1 to 3. Not as good of an opportunity as gold, in my opinion. Gold's got a better outlook. Can't see her too quick. I know I'll be moving quick on the charts. But this is the perspective for AU. GJ, if you're curious about GJ, this is the zone that I'm anticipating price to trade back into. So yeah, fam, we got 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn. Please trade with proper risk management. Don't be stupid. All right. I'm going to be very blunt and real because I hear it all the time from people. It's like, I blew my account, Donnie. I blew my funded. I blew my this. I blew my that. It's like, okay, have you done what I've said to do before every single trade, which is calculate risk? And the answer 90% of the time is, well, I was, but then I didn't. Or no, I haven't been. Or it's like, dude, dot lock in, man. Like you got to calculate your risk when you're taking trades. You know what I mean? And on a day like NFP, it's not something you want to mess around with, man, for real. Parameters on AUD I'll drop the chart in the chat. Okay. AU. Here's Goldilocks. All right. Man. Every time I blow an account, it's been from not listening to Donnie's instructions. Jokes. Would you recommend a buy limit on AUD You could. Yeah, for sure. If you want to use proper risk management and be in this, I think this is a nice point of interest. Bounce off. We've literally been just been respecting order blocks consistently in this range. I think we have reason to sweep this high. AUD has actually been stronger than a lot of these other majors. All right, Euro's been weak in comparison. NZD has been weak in comparison. GU also weak in comparison. So I think if there's a major currency pair to be buying that gives a nice reaction, it would be AU. The only thing is, like, I don't know if we have enough gas in the tank to get down here with news. But at the same time, if we do, I mean, chances are, we wouldn't stay down here for very long if we end up spiking into that with news release. So if you want to set a buy limit, if that's what you feel called to do, I mean, yeah, we could set a buy limit together, to be honest, on it. You guys just got to promise me you're using proper risk. Because if news releases, sometimes what I've seen when it's just US dollar and not Canadian as well, I've seen this before, is we'll just see blast off in one direction without even a false spike. So we'll see what happens today. But that is a possibility as well. You know what I mean? It's a possibility. It's not impossible, you know what I mean? Not impossible. Off quotes. What? These are the parameters for AUD Entry, profit level, stop loss. Alrighty. So yeah, we got like a minute and a half or so before news releases. So again, trade with proper risk. Don't be don't be silly. All right. And also keep in mind as well, like you could choose to, if you feel more comfortable, just market execute. If we get price trading into the point of interest that we're looking for, um, you don't necessarily need to set a limit if you don't feel called to, right? So yeah, I'm pretty much set up, good to go. Really liking the looks of gold spiking lower. Um, yeah, this is looking solid for gold. It's looking solid, my. So we're getting the initial move. Ideally, we get a bit more of a spike than this. Swept these lows, which is good, but I am expecting this low to be taken as well on Goldilocks. So we shall see. Yeah, news release bullishly in comparison to the forecast. So now we wait. Should almost put on some elevator music. If you know, you know. You guys love elevator music. So yeah, we would ideally see this in the next 4 or 5 minutes with news release. So far, pretty accurate, pretty on point with the spike, false spike direction, with price, selling off on gold. Now it's just a matter of do we see that continuation lower to beneath the low? Right now, technically, what we're bouncing off of is the I actually meant to go over this too, but I didn't. Is the London liquidity capture, and so we're bouncing off of this point of interest. We could fly from here, without getting the lower liquidity captured. This is from one news released to this area. It's about an 80 pip move. I do think we have a chance of getting down to the lower point of interest, but this is technically a good liquidity capture. Could be enough of a liquidity capture for price to because realistically speaking, we took all these lows, took these lows, took this low, traded down into the 5 minute, point of interest. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But ideal scenario, Don's perfect world, we take this low as well. This is like just such an easy low to put your stop beneath. Think about it as a buyer. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, swing low, perfect. Stop loss right there. It's not going to take that low. You know what I mean? This is a bullish market structure trend, man. So that's the way I look at it. I'm confident we'll take this out, but let's see. Let's see. I think I have well, let me pull this up real quick. Where's the Okay, yeah, let me pop this out. Donnie, my hero. What? That's crazy. The YouTube chat. All right. Not that we're back. Had to pull up the YouTube chat real quick. But sweet. So yeah, let's see. We might get the fly from here based on price action. Let's see if we get it, man. Let's see if we get it. Usually with NFP news releases, we'll know by the by like 8:45 kind of time slot, whether or not we're bouncing from a certain area or not. Yeah, I'm not really looking to market execute from this zone, to be honest. I mean, not as of right now. Excuse me, not as of right now, but if we were to get evidence of this zone being the zone that we bounce from, yeah, maybe we'll look for an entry, but this is the ideal and I'm still pretty confident we could get this in the next two 5 minute candles. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now, this doesn't show enough bullishness to give a reaction. Like we could just be smaller time frame, maybe accumulating in this area. It's possible. But for me, you know what I'm saying? This is the ideal scenario for sure. For sure. And I'll be ready to market execute, just so you guys know. So this is the buy limit. I will be ready on gold to market execute. Should we tap into maybe just the start of the fair value gap or the start of this order block without necessarily getting all the way down into the ideal entry area or point of interest that we have written on screen. So just be ready. AUD we did see a full spike lower as well, but didn't get down to our area, by the way, for anybody that was taking a look at that. Grab some sells, but now waiting with you for the bounce. Yeah, nice. Yeah, like this is based on the 15-minute candle that's printing right now. This to me shows signs of wanting to take this low. So then it's just a matter of when we take this low, how deep do we trade, ideally into this zone, before getting the bounce. So you want to be ready as well to market execute buys in the event that we don't get all the way down to the buy limits. Hopefully that makes sense. Big smoothie guy. To remove AUD limit? Yeah, you can probably remove it. I doubt we're gonna trade back to that area, so you can feel free to delete the AUD. Let's see, man. Can we get what we're looking for? Yeah, I low-key feel like we need to play some music right now. Just jam out while we're waiting. It's like the boring, you know what I mean? Boring interim. Got tapped out, but just missed that spike on US 30. You got to trade for US 30. Let's see what we get, man. Maybe we do bounce from where we're at. Because based on the time that we've been spending in this area, it's possible, man. It's possible. I'm not entirely sold on it though. Maybe we make the move from here. If so, I'm sure there'll be some sort of entry opportunity. But yeah, these are literally, I meant to actually go over this too. This was the main zone, the lower one, but this was the alternative point of interest. Meant to touch on it. So it's looking like we might make the move from this area. Right direction for the false spike, just not quite to the lower point of interest so far. Obviously, things could change, but definitely getting a bit of a reaction from the 3 a.m. kind of or just before 3 a.m. Sell off here for gold. So if we are looking to be a part of the move here, assuming that this is, the jab what we're anticipating to be the kind of low on for golds, we could probably observe price action for potential opportunities. But let's be patient with this here. There's not really anything I would market execute. I'm okay missing the move from this zone. Like I'm okay if we aren't a part of this move. I know some of you guys might be like antsy, you know what I mean? But if we miss the move, we miss the move. You know what I mean? At this point, um, the uh, the chances of us bouncing from here are a little bit higher than initially. But the ideal entry would have been from the open of the order block as opposed to where we're currently trading and finding a smaller time frame re-entry. So, do with that what you will. Obviously, you could look for re-entry opportunity, but the cleanest entry opportunity would have definitely been at that actual order block itself. But we weren't looking for the reaction from that zone, you know. It was a potential zone, but this was the ideal, man. This was the ideal for sure. I'm surprised we didn't have enough strength to get to the lower point of interest, to be honest. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Wonder what Bitcoin's doing, just out of curiosity. Not a whole lot. Spike tire. You check GU. Oh wow. So practically all the lows. It's looking like it'll probably flip and trade bullishly from here. Euro, same thing. Swap these lows, kind of like what we're anticipating initially, right? Think we pulled this up, took a look at it. Most likely we would take these out. There just wasn't like a point of interest to really enter off of here for EU. You know what I mean? Like if we had like a fair value gap or even the 4 hour, like there's just nothing that's really showing as a point of interest for buys. That's why I wasn't really looking for anything on it. But yeah, those cells looked good. Alden's, I was seeing that in the team chat as well. But yeah, we're probably gonna take this out on AU as well. NZUSD, I mean, we did trade back into this little hourly fair value gap. That could have been, opportune, but you know, gold's what looked the cleanest, man. Gold's what looked the cleanest. It's still, a great area that I would be looking for buys from if we do trade down into it. Just not the oomph beside this false spike or initial spike lower on gold. And this is like, if you were wanting to not chase the trade, but like find a way to get into this bounce that we're seeing so far. Like you could obviously look at smaller time frame price action and look for price to trade back into order blocks for entries and stuff. But in order for me to like if I was to enter off this order block because we're trading inside of it right now, how could I go about entering this? Well, I could enter stop loss beneath the low, super tight stop. Definitely good risk to reward opportunity. Like you're at a 1 to 3 to the high. This is 1 minute price action. Like the ease in which price could literally just take this low. Literally, we might see it happen as we're talking about it. It's so easy. You know what I mean? So that's why it's not ideal to really, as of right now, based on what price actions, showing, to look for the re-entry opportunity with gold, assuming we bounce from here. And here's the thing. What if This is, spike lower, capturing buyers. Now we get this bounce baiting in more buyers. We still have, this swing low that just got created, but also this main one. I mean, gold could very well still take both those areas out and trade into our zone. You know what I mean? So I'm personally, you guys can do whatever you want to do. If you want to take buys from here, stop beneath this low or stop beneath the low, this, 5 minute, which is the main area, you could do so. You might be able to find an opportunity and still be a part of this move. But me personally, I'm okay to not be in the move, waiting for my area, or at the very least, waiting for something that's a little bit more appealing in this zone for buys than to try and force a setup. You know what I mean? Like we just had a 15-minute candle closure, right? We got, major wick with liquidity probably beneath that low. Obviously, this is a pretty major wick from London session. Liquidity certainly beneath that low. So it's like, if anything, this is still appealing to me and on the table. Could we bounce from here? Yeah, for sure. But I'm not going to force a setup. You know what I mean? I'm not going to force a setup when my initial setup is still on the table. Ideally, we've seen the false spike by around 8:45 with enough of a reaction to give evidence of the continuation going into like the 9:30, timeline. But maybe today's an exception. Maybe we don't see the actual move with bounce and authority until like 9:15, right? You show the buy limit again? Yeah, for sure. This is what we were initially anticipating. Still on the table. Let's say a little bit less likely based on what we've seen with the price action so far, but still on the table. What of BTC? Yeah, I mean, this thing, we got money on both sides. Marked this up before NFP. Haven't really seen a run on either. You know what I mean? So I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. Like next area that we're gunning for is probably like 100K, to be honest. Like we could see that this week. And what I mean by this week is, obviously it's Friday today, so like I'm not meaning today, but before Sunday, which is when the weekly candle closes for Bitcoin, we could definitely see 100K by then. I would love to see at some point a pullback into this fair value gap on the daily. You know what I mean? But we'll see if we get it. Even gold's nice reaction off this kind of order block. Swept a lot of liquidity on Thursday. I think we got enough gas in the tank to potentially get down here, but not without a pullback. Yeah, it could happen without a pullback, right? But I mean, this is a pullback if we're taking a look at the move lower from Thursday. I don't know, man. Gold's telling me to just wait and sit on my hands and not even bother looking for a setup from this 5 minute right now based on price action. Like I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, I don't need I like I said, I'm okay if I miss a move from here if this is where we end up reacting from. But for me, this is still looking kind of juicy. You know what I mean? This looks kind of juicy still. Let's see what we get. Maybe I'm entirely wrong and you guys are disappointed with an NFP session where we didn't end up catching or being a part of the move. You know, it happens. But we got an alert set on this, so I'm actually going to set one right at the low, also the low of the NFP release. And we'll see how long do I trade. Um, if I'm no position is a position. Great quote, great quote. And facts, absolute facts. But usually, like if I'm trading NFP, I'll trade until, to be honest, usually not past 10 a.m. on NFP day. But usually if I'm trading New York session and it's not NFP, I might be on the charts until like 11:30 Eastern. Usually my trading day is about 3 hours from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay. So we got a nice reaction from this order block. We could potentially have enough gas in the tank from here to continue higher. Feel the inefficiency of this candle perhaps bounce. How long did it take me to learn to trade? Um, I mean, to get to a point of consistent profitability, it took me years, you know. I've been doing this for 7 years now. When I started, it was April 2018. First year was miserable, lost a bunch of money. It was actually great though. It wasn't even miserable to be honest. Like it sucked. Got scammed a few times. It wasn't ideal. Right? A lot of you guys are starting with much better stories. You might be like, yeah, I'm still not profitable. It's like, yeah, but you're also not out 30 G's your first 12 months, you know? So that's a good thing. Right? Maybe some of you guys are like, Donnie, I'm out more than that. It's like, okay, you just part of the process. You know what I mean? It's same as school tuition. So yeah, like first year was rough. Didn't have a community, didn't have anybody I was working with. I was just independent, trying to figure it out, throwing shit at the wall, hoping it would stick. Nothing was sticking. Started to explore technical analysis and take trading more seriously. And then through the right circumstances, situations, people, and events, got introduced to a great platform in 2019. And I was like actively searching for a trading community, so it was perfect. Got exactly what I was looking for, and was with that platform from 2019 until 2023, so like 4 years. And then that's when we transitioned to, I was with Economy for about a year and a half, was educating on that platform for about half that time. And yeah, now here we are, you know, left that platform. Didn't really feel like it was going to be what we were looking for as a group, myself and my business partner in our community long term. Nothing bad to say about the individuals we worked with. I think we had a lot of great friendships that were made, a lot of great students. And some of you guys are on this call right now, you know, but we just had to make a move that made sense for us at the time, and we're happy with the move we made. And I wish everybody the best. I definitely miss, a lot of the students that I was educating there, but yeah, I guess going back to the original question, it took me about 3 years to find consistent profitability. And even then, like it ebbs and flows. Like I'll have losing months, you know. It's rare. Usually it's more like losing weeks. But there are times as a trader where you're gonna take some L's. You know what I mean? And you're gonna take some losing trades. You're gonna take a sequence of losing trades, and it's part of the process. You know what I mean? You gotta be willing to lose. Like losing is a part of the process in trading. So, but yeah. So it took me like 3 years. It doesn't need to take you that long though. Like a lot of people that we work with that are new have been doing this for just a few months and seeing results tangibly from trade ideas or from, scanners or whatever. Like there's a lot of great things that I wish I had when I started now that we have access to, that we didn't have access to back in 2018. Like 2018, Bitcoin and crypto was still like a huge taboo topic. Now it's trading as a whole too. Like nobody was talking about it. You know what I mean? Now it's totally different conversation. Everybody and their grandma's heard of Bitcoin. It was not that way in 2018, I'll tell you. It was certainly not that way in 2018. So we're in a good place now though, as a whole. I think with crypto, with trading, I think trading is more universally um, accepted as a career. Obviously, it's still not something that most people are able to do. You got to look at the numbers, and you got to be You got to be the person that makes the decision to be a part of the 1%, 2%, 3%, 5% of traders that actually make it profitably. But it's no different than anything, really, when you think about it. Think about the people in the NBA. Think about the people that aren't in the NBA that play basketball and that wanted to be in the NBA. It's the same thing. If you want to succeed at the highest level, you got to make a decision. You got to be fully committed and locked in and do whatever it takes, you know? So just got to trust the process with trading, though. Once you've identified and chosen a strategy, you got to stick with the strategy. You got to master the strategy, master the technical elements of it. And that's not going to take you very long, to be honest. What'll take you the longest is the mental discipline and battle with yourself and your plan to follow it. That's what took me the longest. Because I'll be honest with you guys, like I had an innate, not innate, well, maybe innate tendency to just be like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. I'm not gonna document this trade or like I blew another account, whatever. You know, it is what it is. I've blown so many accounts, man. It's crazy. And you wanna in life you have to care, but not that much. Like you don't want to be bashing yourself for blowing a trading account, but you also don't want to be stupid and actually look at why you blew the account, learn from that experience, and then pave the way forward in a way that makes sense. And I was like in denial more than I was actively learning from the experiences that I had. I had to like really learn the hard way the first little while, which had nothing to do with anybody else. It was just me and my process, and nothing even wrong with that per se. But it's yeah, I mean, maybe some of you guys can relate. It's just a matter of accepting, being accepting of yourself. And, you know, when you consider denial for you blowing a trading account or over leveraging on a trade and, you know, it being a winning trade or a losing trade, either way, you made, even if you over leverage on a trade and you win the trade, that's a bad decision that you're accepting because you made the decision to over leverage on the trade in the first place. Whether it was a winning trade or a losing trade is irrelevant. We all know that over leveraging on trades is not how you lead to consistent profitability. So you shouldn't be celebrating an over leveraged W. And obviously you're not going to celebrate an over leveraged L. But the point is don't suppress that behavior. Don't be in denial of that behavior. You gotta like wake the fuck up and be like, okay, I can't do this if I'm seriously trying to make it trading. Like you talk to someone like Nick Gomez, good friend of mine, the vice president of education with the company. He's been doing this for more than a decade. He trades with 8 figures in a live account, not some prop firm bullshit, his own money. You ask him, you know, he's literally he placed top 200 in all traders on Bybit last month, made like 200K, just over 200K. Yeah, I'm just telling you guys the facts. Like this is not income claim. It's just the facts. It's just the numbers. It's just, you know, who do you listen to? And you ask him about risk management, he'll tell you, yeah, I'm risking, very disciplined. He's got a 90% win rate. Obviously, he didn't start that way, but he has a plan. He works the plan. He's 9-0 on trade ideas with the company since he started calling out trades, which was the beginning of April. I mean, success leaves clues. You know, he doesn't win every single time. Don't take last month as an example for what every month can be expected to be. That's not the case. You're going to take L's as a trader. But the point is that I'm trying to make, you ask anybody who's successful, the number one thing that they're going to tell you is probably what every other successful trader is going to tell you. Use proper risk management, be consistent, be disciplined. Way easier said than done. But hey, this is the shit that you got to focus on overcoming. Is that tendency or that ideology or that mindset of, yeah, I'm just gonna put a little bit extra on this trade, you know? And then you win the trade and you reinforce a bad habit and then you do it again the next trade. And then eventually you get burned by it, but then you're like, oh no, 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 no. But like there's these instances where it worked. So it's okay. Maybe I'll figure it out with my next live account. And then you blow that live account. And it's the same process over and over and over and over again until you wake up and you're like, okay, if I want these results that I'm experiencing with trading to change, I need to change my process. I need to change my attitude. I need to change my mentality to this as a process. And so I experienced that. We're finally getting some movement on gold to our lower point of interest. Let's see if we can get it. Um, see if we can get it while we're having this conversation. Ah, I told you guys I wasn't convinced of that area for buys. Told you. But I mean, we could still not reach our point of interest, so I shouldn't be like laughing and, mocking gold right now. Gold is not something to mock, for real. If you know, you know. But anyways, I'm on a little bit of a tangent here, but this is just the facts. Like I'm just going to tell you guys what everybody else, all these other gurus aren't going to tell you. Like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, G-Wags, private jets, drinking champagne." It's like, "Okay, bro. Like your journey fucking sucked until it didn't. Why don't we talk about the fact that it sucked until it didn't instead of just the fact that it's, so great and glamorous now?" I'm just being real. I'm not at the private jet stage yet. I don't even care about private jets. I think it'd be cool for sure. Will I have one? 100%. At some point in the future, maybe I don't have one. Maybe I charter them. But it's like, let's talk about what actually is real instead of what's not. You know what I mean? That's what I think matters most. So we are selling off to the lower point of interest here on gold, and bias remains the same. I think we have, more than just this low to capture in terms of liquidity. We've barely even tapped through that low. So I think we got probably a little bit more momentum here. I'd ideally want to see this like in the next 30 minutes. We trade down into this area, get a reaction, and then it's like we end the session and we just ride this thing out to TP. That would be the ideal, scenario. Maybe it gets invalidated, right? Possible. I think unlikely based on, what areas of liquidity we've captured on the way down to the zone, assuming we get down to it. But we've got these other two areas of liquidity that I want to see taken. Um, Obviously, I have an alert set here at 42, and it's kind of slow. I'm actually surprised at how, like, we're progressively moving lower, but I would expect this to be a bit of a faster grab. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. And we would want to see a pretty fast recovery from the area when we do get down into it. This is the importance of patience. There's probably some people that jumped off the session that are like, yeah, like it's over. It's like, man, every NFP is a little bit different. Sometimes it's not always what we want when we want it. Swept that first low. So we're getting closer to this order block, right? We want to be ready for potential market executions anywhere within this zone. The ideal area, I also sometimes use inverse fair value gaps, yes. But the area that we're ideally looking for price to trade into is kind of like this full fair value gap fill on the 5 minute. And this is like just shy of the 50% on the 15. Obviously, this is also a hourly fair value gap, which on the hourly, if we mark this up, we are now trading inside of. So you got to make the decision for yourself. Do you want to be patient and see if we get down to the buying point of interest, which I would encourage? Um, or do you want to maybe, take a position slightly different to the one that we have set up here? That's maybe a bit of a bigger stop loss, but that you're, in the move and don't necessarily risk missing the move because sometimes we won't always reach that exact level we're looking for. But for me right now, I'm personally just going to be patient. It's looking like we're going to reach the point of interest. So we shall see. But patience pays, ladies and gentlemen. See, we could have been stressing trying to find the 1 minute entry on this area and stop beneath this low. And now it's like, oh, stop got hit. It's a good thing that we were patient, right? Can I give an explanation on inverse fair value gaps? I can just send you a recording that does if you'd like. If you message me on Instagram, I can send you one. Just be like, hey, I was the person on the session talking about inverse fair value gaps. Can you send me a recording on it? Just because I want to be locked in for this, assuming we continue getting down into that area, you know. The thing that I like about this too, from what we're seeing, is a lot of the other major currency pairs. Actually, I guess euros. Actually, hold on. Maybe I'm just talking about AU here. But I was going to say the other majors are still getting nice movements bullishly, while gold's kind of diverging them. Um, all right. So we're getting down into that area some more here. This is where you're going to want to make a decision for yourself whether or not you want to execute a bit early because now we're in that zone, or wait for your limits to trigger. Limit or limits. Personally, I put a little bit of exposure, but I'm waiting for the majority from that exact entry level. Because we did trade into the point of interest. We could bounce from here without getting to 50%. Ideally, we get down to the 50% though. So do with that what you will. Again, trade with proper risk. But there is the possibility we could see the reaction from here without gold's getting down into that exact entry point of interest. So let's see. Let's see, man. Let's see. I'm learning anything on this journey. It's patience for sure. For sure, man. Patience pays. Patience is a virtue. There's that saying, and definitely the facts with trading for sure. Give us that 50%. Goldilocks. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm fully exposed on the position now. The rest of my order just got filled. So now we wait. Now we wait and see. Do we get invalidated and Don's a fraud and doesn't trade NFP profitably, or are we or are we chill guys that sometimes mark up charts like we have crystal balls without crystal balls, you know? Let's see what we get, man. But this is what we were talking about at the very beginning of the session. Got an initial false spike, traded higher, teased us. Then we were patient, and patience pays, man. Patience pays. So, like in the reaction that we got here, we got 6 minutes until this 15-minute candle closes. What I would want to see, Don's perfect world again. We're not living in it. Sometimes we do live in it, though. Like sometimes we'll get, some nice reactions. And it's like we're living in Don's perfect world. But from here, we would want to see bullish and favorable candle close on the 15-minute. Following 15-minute candle, which would be the last one that we're actually on the session for, we would want to see engulf. That'd be ideal. We could go break even. And that would be the ideal scenario. You know what I mean? That'd be the ideal scenario. First TP again is at this high, which is like 32.70. We'll call it 32.68, 69, whatever. Main target that I'm looking for is this high, which is at 32.85. All right. If you want to hold a swing position, hey, we got more liquidity we could capture, 34.14 or sorry, 33.14. And hey, if you want to get crazy with it, I might get a little crazy with it. Maybe we'll see. Depends how we trade in this area, but we got the potential to take out the highs of, if this was an accumulation with some crazy massive spring, like it's not impossible we get back above these highs. But again, main target for me personally is around 32.85 today. So we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we don't. But favorable 5 minute candle closure. We got 5 minutes or so until the next 15 minute candle closes. So yeah, man. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Dwayne, I'm just trying to be as goated as you, my bro. I just be out here. I'm trying to be the goat like you, man. Trying to be the goat like you. Will you hold this over the weekend if we don't TP? We'll probably hit the first target, man. I'm very confident we'll hit that first target at 32.70. So at least partial. Um, if if I'm very, very confident we'll hit the first target. If we don't and we're like trading here, it's up to you, man. If you want to if you want to hold it over the weekend, you could. But I would probably not love that if that was the scenario. You know what I mean? So we're floating around entry. Let's look at the 1 minute. 1 minute price action. We're jabbing back to this area. I mean, we could get a full fair value gap fill potentially, but ideal scenario we get a 50% candle closure outside the fair value gap. That would be the most favorable for this 15-minute candle. But let's see. The suspense. Just got to set it and forget it, man. As long as you're using proper risk, we could, you know, call it a session right here, right? As long as you're using proper risk management, there's no need to worry, right? What's the first TP? First TP that I'm looking for is at 32.70, which is basically just the capture of this high from, so like 7:45 a.m. Eastern. That's what I would be looking to target first. What I'll do for you guys is I'll mark them up. So that's the first target. Second target and main target is 32.85. 1 to 5 risk to reward. And then that kind of crazy swing target that we're looking for out of 1 to 8 is 33.14. So yeah, let's see what we get, man. See what we get. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this smacks stop loss. We like to go break even after your TP1. Probably sooner, to be honest. If we could get um, closure above this, like 32.60, I would look to go break even for sure. Even like 32.55, that'd be a good area to go break even because realistically we'd be up from the initial entry, depending on where you enter. Maybe you entered a little bit early from the open of the fair value gap. At that point, we're up 100 pips. Like you could probably go break even after 100 pips safely. But 15-minute candle did close favorably. It could have been more favorable, I'll be honest. I would have preferred if we closed at like where we're currently trading. But either way, favorable candle closure. We'll stay on for another 15 minutes, see how this closes. Ideally, we can go break even before we jump off the session, and then it's just a matter of, you know, um, you guys story posting if we smack TP or something and tagging me up or whatever the case is. But I do actually have to jet around 9:30, which is in 15 minutes. So we'll set it, we'll forget it. Um, you guys let me know, man. You guys let me know if you're in the trade. We're currently up about, I mean, if you entered from the exact buy limit entry, you're up about 50 pips right now. Um, you know what? Let's get some content, man. Let's get some content for fun real quick. I know we haven't hit TP yet, but we're gonna get some content. We're gonna get some content. All righty. Um, all right, you guys go crazy in the chat for me if you're positioning golds. Was good, IG. You already know NFP. We had to go live with the squad. Okay. You guys let me know if you're on the session right now. Go crazy if you are positioned in the gold buy. We gave this way before NFP. Had an initial reaction. We're patient, got the reaction right down into our point of interest. You guys let me know in the Zoom chat if you are in there currently in profit on the trade. Now, obviously, we haven't hit take profit yet, but hey, we're in there. We up about 60 pips, sniper entry, getting close to that break even point. Y'all are firing me up in the chat. Let's go. Damn, y'all went crazy in the chat for real. Let's get it, man. Y'all should be here. We missed you. If you weren't on the session, we missed you. But hey, we'll be back for next month. Let's get it. Cool, man. Thanks for the content, guys. We are up. I feel like it's the least we can do. You know what I mean? Just go crazy for the content. It's the least we can do as a group, right? W's in the chat, baby. Let's go, man. This feels good. Two dry NFPs in a row prior to this. This feels nice, man. We haven't oh yeah, this is looking good. We're liking the looks. We're liking the looks. But didn't get a yeah, last month's NFP was garbage. It's because of all this crazy news that was going on that week, right? And then obviously the session before that, the NFP before that was all oh my gosh, that is a crazy comment. Oh man. Malutin, you're making me laugh, bro. Hope everyone's 18 plus. That's hilarious. Um, but yeah, I mean, we had really slow, boring NFPs the previous two releases. So even this one's been nothing too crazy. Like we had really crazy ones in January and February. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, we're getting the reaction, traded in the zone, beautiful bounce. I'll probably get some more content when we're actually ready to go break even on this thing. Ideally before the session ends in the next 10 minutes. But I would probably go break even once we've got up to around 32 52-ish. Like I would be comfortable going break. I mean, you could go break even right now if you want. You know what I mean? Like we're already up basically 100 pips from entry. So if you want to go break even, you definitely can. But I would be personally looking to hold this thing, not quite break even yet. I would look for a little bit more bullishness. You know what I mean? But we're getting a beautiful reaction, man. This is a sniper entry for sure. For sure. Get that 15-second accumulation. Come on. This is gonna be funny. You guys should record this, okay? Ready? Watch this. So here we are, guys. 15-second accumulation schematic on golds. You got your seller's climax. Actually, no, no, hold on. This is your seller's climax. Automatic rally. Here's your ST. Here's your failed spring, didn't get the low. And now we're just, filling fair value gaps and just flying. This is how we trade on the 15-second time frame. Guys, rumor has it the best gurus trade on the smallest time frames. Just saying. If you're a serious trading guru, you trade on the 1 second time frame. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. Come on. Only the best traders trade on the 1 second time frame. Where are we going? We're going higher. Oh shit. Donnie does have a crystal ball. Damn, I'm telling y'all, 1 second time frame. Y'all are not ready for this. Come on, baby. We printing. We printing. Do not trade on the 1 second time frame. If you trade on the 1 second time frame, we can't be friends. It's like if you're trading and talking about meme coins to me. We cannot be friends. We can't be. Sorry. You could throw money into a meme coin. I don't mind. But if you're only talking to me about meme coins and you're thinking that that's crypto, sure, there are a lot of meme coins in crypto, but we don't really befriend meme coin meme coin projects or people or, you know, totally kidding. Well, I'm partially kidding. I do hate on meme coins a lot, but one thing I'll say too, if you guys are getting some good value on the session from the mindset stuff we were talking about, obviously from the trade that we're currently up, 120 pips on, whatever the case is, if you're not already a part of um, our community and you want to be a part of the community, of course, happy to connect with you guys some more on that. If it's something of interest, if you just DM me the word revolt or revolt on Instagram, we can definitely have a conversation. We do this on a regular basis, more than just once a month. I do it publicly right now for NFP. I won't always be that way. Um, it's not always going to be that way. So if you guys want to be a part of these sessions, if you want to be a part of the trainings, we do sessions very regularly, 3 times a week. This week we've done 5 sessions, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been a great week. But typically we'll trade live twice a week. Now, mind you, it's not always going to be like today's session. We do this consistently for NFP because we're pretty much guaranteed volatility and guaranteed nice points of interest in trades like this. Not always, okay? Sometimes we have boring NFPs. Don't get me wrong. But if you're not a part of the community, you want to be a part of the community, just DM me the word revolt and we can have a conversation. You can't already be a member of GFU. If you're already a member with GFU, you're just going to have to wait until I'm on the platform. But if you're not sure about GFU or you haven't heard of it and you're not a part of the company already, happy to work together more closely and would be great to have you inside the community. We are absolutely taking up. Hold on. We gotta get the content of this, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So it's been about 5 minutes since the last little recording. Guys, who's break even and making some money on the call, baby? We up. We're up 150 pips. Man, only the best gurus trade on the 1 second time frame. Totally kidding. We did not get this entry on the 1 second time frame. But y'all go crazy with the W's in the chat, man. Come on, baby. I'm taking my girl for sushi after this. Yes. Let's freaking go, man. Manga Bistro on the house. I had to get my bread up for the sushi. You already know. But wow, chat is still just going absolutely berserk. But we out here. We do this, baby. We do this. If you didn't catch the NFP session and you think there's cap in the wrap, you can watch the recording. It's going to be on the YouTube channel. But y'all better be here for next NFP, man. That's all I'm going to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, move your stop loss to break even. Pay yourself some partials if you'd like. And first target, like I said, 32.70. Next target, 32.85. Based on how price is printing, maybe we get there, maybe we don't. Who knows? Anything could happen. Maybe this reverses and hits us break even, right? So it's always good to pay yourself. But this is a beautiful, beautiful trade. And if you're like, man, this guy's gotta have a crystal ball, I promise you, I do not have a crystal ball. I promise you. But this is what we talk about in the community, man. We talk about this. We go over this on a regular basis, how you can start to analyze the markets the exact same way that I do. I'm nobody special, you know. So if we're not already working together, I'm happy to connect with you about how we could. And it's not just me in the community. If you are already a part of the community, drop a one in the chat. If you're getting some value, if you're always having a good time with the trade ideas, with the live sessions. Some of you guys are a part of the community already, and we love to see it, man. We love to see it. Like we have an amazing group. We have an amazing team of educators, people that are already making six, seven, eight figures in the markets, and we do this on a regular basis, right? So if you've been on the fence and you've seen what we've been doing, and this session wasn't the sign for you to tap the frick in, I don't know what is, man. I can't think of too many educators outside of our group that will do this live in front of people on a regular basis. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not trying to, talk down to other educators, other gurus, but the reality is most people can't do it live in front of 100 people. Most NFP sessions prior to us making this transition to the new company and new partnership, we had 1,000 people on every single NFP. Don't get the numbers. Don't let the numbers get to your head like, oh, there's only 80 people on the live session. It's like, no, you guys got to take this shit. You got to be grateful for this shit. This is not going to be how it is forever. Like, this is not going to be NFP live publicly all the time. Okay. This is like, be grateful for the opportunity because most of the time this is just in-house. And we were doing this in-house for months prior to just the last few sessions we've been doing publicly. Like I said, it's not always going to be like that. So, if you've been on the fence and you're like, oh, I don't know, I could join the community, or I don't know, I could do this, I could do that, let this be your sign, man, to just plug in, whether it's with our group or a different group inside of GFU. You know, um, I would love to work with you guys more personally. Maybe some of you guys are like, I don't even know what the heck GFU is. I don't know what Revolt is. I don't know what Revolt is. I don't know. Donnie's just a chill guy that trades, and I like to learn from him for free. And that's great. You can continue to do that too. But there's a different level of attention that you get inside the community, and a different level of mentorship, and we've had a great freaking week, man, with trade ideas, uh, with everything going on. We got like a next wave super high level leadership mastermind right now, where we literally teach people how to go from 0 to 10K a month. It's already started, so it's something that's already underway, but we're having a great time inside the community, man. So with that being said, fam, we'll wrap up the session there for today. Um, Enjoy the profits, pay yourself if you haven't already a little bit. We're already up on this trade at about a one to just shy of a 1 to 2 risk to reward. At the peak, we were about a 1 to 2. So I'm personally going to be looking to pay myself a little bit, but I'm mainly looking for that target at 32.70 and 32.85. Let's see if we get it. Maybe we hit TP1 and then reverse to break even. So you never know. You want to pay yourself on the way, of course. And like I said, if you're not already part of the community, just DM me, Revolt or Revolt. My Instagram is on screen. I'll pull it up for you guys. If we're not already connected, definitely feel free to connect with me, man. And DM me the word Revolt. That way I'll know you were on the session and we could talk some more about potentially working together. How do I take partials? Great question. From MetaTrader 5, when you're in the trade window, as long as you have a position that is bigger than a 0.01, you can go into where it says close position, and then you'll see whatever your lot size is, top middle of the screen, 0.01, 0.02, 0.0, whatever it is, or 1.00. You can adjust that number to close out a part of it instead of the whole thing. Okay. So yeah, guys, enjoy the profits. I'm off for the day. I'm gonna go get ready for the day and go get some sushi with wifey. So let's obviously not right now, but in a couple hours. It'd be crazy eating sushi at 9:30 a.m. would be wild. But looking forward to working with some of you guys more closely. Let's have a great rest of the NFP trading day, and sending you guys love, abundance. Let's continue crushing it. Let's continue having a great week and a great year, man. We're in the month of May, chapter 5. So let's keep doing what we're doing, fam. And I believe in you. If you're a trader and you've ever had moments of doubt, just keep going. Keep going. You got to ask yourself that question of, even if this took me 10 years, super conservative, probably not going to take you that long. But even if it took you 10 years to get to a point where you could do this consistently, travel around the world, have the life of your dreams, because time and money and everything else under the sun is not an issue anymore, would it be worth it to you? Probably the answer is going to be yes. So just keep going and keep that why, whatever it is that you're doing this for, close to you, because that's what'll keep you going. And yeah, that's Mindset Donnie signing off. We'll we'll be back for some more sessions very soon, fam. And looking forward to seeing some of you guys inside on the community as well. But with that being said, much love. Enjoy the weekend. Let's get some fireworks to close it out. Woohoo! Great great NFP session. Another fat dubski. And we're gonna keep them coming. Keep them coming inside the community. We do this all the time, so it's gonna be a good time.